So,
Hey, Linus. How are you?
what's up?
All right, everybody, we'll get going here. Like I said, just keep an eye on the chat section for who has the next couple questions. And please, when you ask questions for Linus, just state your name and affiliation so he knows who he's answering. John, your hand was up first, so go ahead with the first question for Linus.
Hey, Linus. John Warren with the Associated Press. How you doing?
What's up, buddy? How are you doing?
Good. Aside from where are you right now, and where I'm assuming you're back home in Europe, but I guess just what does it mean to get this deal done? And I guess it's just, is it a prove it kind of deal for you, or how do you take that being a 1-year deal?
Well, nothing particularly really for me. It's always a time to prove myself. It doesn't matter if I'm a 1, 2, 3 or a long time deal. It doesn't take away the things that I need to do every day to try to prove myself as being a starting goaltender in this league.
Hi, Linus. It's Bill Hoppy with the Times Herald. I hope you're well. When you look back on last season, you put together a nice stretch when you started for about 2 months in the winter. What when you look back on it, what worked about that stretch? What helped you thrive?
Have to remember a lot of things now. Well, first of all, we kind of kept it a little bit more simple than I've been doing these last years. Me and Mike had a pretty good relationship right from the start. I mean, I could really trust his voice and his way of seeing things. And when you put together a lot of games in a row and just play a lot of games, everything just kind of happens naturally, just because you're in the flow of it all. And there's no thought process behind every save or so, which could be one of the reasons why it's so hard being a backup or being a guy that kind of gets one every 5th game or so.
Hi, Linus. It's Lance in the Buffalo News. I hope you're doing well. Congratulations. This long off season, can you just describe the challenge, mentally, to keep yourself engaged and, physically to know when to ramp up for the season, when to do your on ice, your off ice, just that whole deal when it comes to preparation?
Well, first of all, you took the first couple of months to kind of prep yourself for maybe the continuance of the season. And then when that didn't happen, it was a nice time to kind of get away from it all and take a couple of weeks of a break. And then for sure, it's certainly been hard, but not particularly to kind of keep myself mentally focused and all that sort of stuff. The thing is that it just takes so long, and there's such a lot of uncertainties. Like, there's no one that has an answer to anything, and you're just going day by day, try to update yourself with the news, seeing what's new, is there anything new that's going to happen. And then when like August came, you're like, well, I'm just going to leave it. Probably know someone's going to reach out to me, and there's not going to be any need for me to kind of keep myself updated every day. But other than that, I've been staying busy every day with working out, and I have a lot of projects going on at home. So there's not been a lot of downtime for me per se.
Hey there, Linus. Mike Harrington, Buffalo News here. A couple questions ago, you talked about some of the good stretches you were in, and that last 9 games around the injury were really good for you, and I think that's a lot of what Kevin Adams saw going forward. What is next for your game and your development, do you think, to kind of channel those kind of games on a consistent basis as a number 1 guy?
Experience, first of all. The more experience you get, the easier everything else gets. So only played my 2nd season now with the Sabres, fairly new to this NHL hockey. So for every game that goes by, it's going to be not per se easier, but it certainly is going to be some things that are going to fall into place, both mentally and physically, and how to read the game and how to act on the game.
Linus, you mentioned projects. What can you discuss some of the projects that you've been busy dealing with that I guess have served as a bit of a distraction? Some fun things, I hope.
Well, a lot of renovations. Started off small, just doing some very easy stuff, and then kind of just ramped it up and creating my own couch, stuff like that. Now we're in full throttle of remodeling our kitchen back home. So it's been a challenge. You know, there's a lot of a lot of obstacles that you don't see at the beginning of when you start the projects, but as you continue on, you just try to solve them as quick and as how should I say it, perfectly as possible.
Linus, a two-part question here about Sweden in general. With so much of the world being, taken up by the virus, what is life in Sweden like these days? And secondly, we're coming up on the anniversary of a year since we were all in Sweden. What just jumps out at you when you think of that trip? Just being able to play in front of people at home and just to be in Sweden representing the Sabres.
For start, I'm going to start by answering your first question. And for me, living so far up north, even though some argue that it's not that far, we have it pretty easy. Like there's no really restrictions. I go by my day as usual. You're a little bit more concerned whenever you get some sort of symptoms, maybe runny nose, a little bit of cough or anything like that. Everybody stays home. Like people have become a lot more aware of how they actually are feeling and not really push through it. So, and for the second question, well, it's certainly a memory that I'm always going to cherish because it certainly was a very, very fun time to get to experience Sweden together with my teammates. Together with and also playing in front of a home, let's say like a home crowd, I would say, and to have all my family there and not just my closest ones. I had my friends there, a little bit other relatives as well. So even though that we didn't win any of the games, I'm still gonna cherish it as a very positive memory.
Hi, Linus. It's Lance again. So a couple of months ago, Carter Hutton sort of told me what he dealt with last season. He had the vision issue that was really difficult, to go through. As a goalie, sort of knowing what he was experiencing, I mean, what was it like, as, his goalie partner? And what does it say about him that he was still very supportive of you, as he was going through what was probably the most challenging
times, but he did a tremendous job from day one. Even though that he struggled himself personally, he was always there to support me and help me out whenever I had a question or needed a little bit of a pick-me-up or anything like that. So I mean, I love Huts. He's doing a great job of just being there and being the teammate and the person that he's always been.
Hello, Linus. This is Mike Pockler from HockeyBuzz.com. You mentioned your second year full-time as a Sabre and some of your experiences. What are some of the eye-opening things that you caught as a starter for Buffalo and that will help you as a probable starter to begin this following season?
Ooh, just kind of, you know what? I would have to kind of pass on that question because I need you to ask it a little bit more easier way for me to understand, and kind of it's hard. It's such a different question. It's a good question, but
how is the NHL different from the AHL or the SHL? And what did you learn this past year as a starter that will help you next year as a probable starter for the Sabres?
Okay, thank you. That helps me a lot. So first of all, the pace of the game is way quicker. Passes are crisper. The shot is more accurate. So just being able to read and react in a more natural way compared to when you're maybe in the more chaotic AHL. and maybe the more structured SHL. So that has certainly become better and better the more games I've played, because experience built up on itself. And that kind of transcends into what I've been talking about before, that experience makes a huge difference for a goaltender. The repetitions, the movements, everything I do every day is helping me to take the next step. And doing that in full speed against better and better players is certainly helping me to act in a natural way and not in a how should I say it, more fabricated way and stuff like that. So even though you want the world to be so perfect and you want the shot to hit you in the chest, it's not going to happen when you're in the show. It certainly is going to go top shelf bar down if you're not careful enough.
Yeah, hi, Linus. Alex Brasky with the Batavia Daily News. Knowing all the guys that they're adding the potential goal scoring, what does that do for a goaltender's confidence, if anything? Just knowing that they're bringing in that goal scoring, maybe it's not as much on the defense and the goaltending.
Well, it's going to help me to play against these guys every single day. We have some great snipers last year as well, but now we added Hall for starters, who's going to bring a tremendous lot of offensive skills and being the player that he is. I mean, he had the MVP of the season for a reason, and it certainly is going to help us to take the next step, I think, as a team, to put up those numbers at all times and not maybe have those stretches where we have found it difficult to score goals.
Hi, Linus, it's Bill again. Just to clarify, these home projects, are you actually doing them? Like, did you design your couch? I'm a little confused, I guess.
Yeah, I designed it. It's very simple to start. It's more like because we live in a pretty small apartment, we needed some place to stuff our stuff away. So I just made a corner couch for myself that's out in the balcony to stuff away. And it's been a lot of fun, to work with my hands and think about stuff that not involves hockey at all times.
Linus, Mike Harrington again. A lot of people at the end of the season were wondering and thinking the Sabres maybe should make an upgrade in goal. Ralph made it clear that he thought that you and Carter were the tandem. Kevin obviously thinks the same way. You signed another deal. I mean, what does it say to you that, the coach and the GM have your back and they think you guys can get the job done and play better as a tandem than you did even last year?
Well, it's pretty obvious that you as a goalie need the support from everyone. And if the coach and the GM doesn't like you, you're not going to stay in the team. So I'm very fortunate and very happy to continue on my journey here with the Sabres. To prove every doubter is wrong is probably the most satisfying things as a goaltender, except for saving all the shots in a single game. So yeah, it's gonna be my goal to take my game to the next level and prove myself.
All right, thank you everybody for your questions today.